Researchers had been experimenting with organ transplants since the early 18th century, but the very first successful organ transplant was in the 19th century on 1883 by a Swiss surgeon, and it was a thyroid implant.
Good.
According to the United States Department of Health and Human Services, breakthroughs in immunosuppressant medicines in recent history are the reason that organ transplants have become so successful, and they led to the very first successful kidney transplant after those breakthroughs in 1954. Those immunosuppressants upgrading led to the... Think of the word. Help me think of the word. It's like heirs almost, one after the other.
Uprise?
No. Like, you use it for family trees sometimes, talking about people through the ages.
I don't know where you're going with it.
Subsequent?
Could be subsequent.
There we go, subsequent. It would be the breakthroughs in immunosuppressants after the first kidney transplant led to the subsequent successful transplants of all other organs. Okay. I think I got it right. I just tried to add on to it and fucked up. Probably won't say anything. I'll just end it on the first kidney transplant. People don't need that much information. Now that I've spoke about the history of organ transplant, let's move on to modern day organ donations and its opt-in and opt-out system. Currently where we live, we are under an opt-in system according to Alexander K. Glazier for organ donations. So that means to become an organ donor, you have to sign up and give express consent at the DMV or over the internet. The only time organ donation is ever considered right now is once all life-saving procedures have been exhausted and a patient has been declared brain dead or deceased. So they won't be thinking of how to steal your kidney while you're under. If a government, like some others right now, would switch to an opt-out system, every person would be considered to be an organ donor unless they have went through the appropriate steps to sign off of that list, according to Alexander K. Glazier. So you would be an organ donor, and at the DMV they would ask you, do you not want to be an organ donor, or something like that. Now that I've spoken about what the opt-in and opt-out systems are, let's talk about their pros and cons. According to Alexander K. Glazier, the opt-in system is seen as a much more ethical option, as every person has to give their expressed consent to become an organ donor. Now, even though it's seen as more ethical, it's seen as inefficient, because right now, under the opt-in system, we are at a critical organ shortage in America, causing many deaths a year due to the lack of transplants. The opt-out system, according to